Hi everyone, Randy Crabtree here, host of the Unique CPA podcast, along with my guest today, the author of The Infinite Game, Simon Sinek. Welcome. Wait, John Garrett? You guys told me it was Simon Sinek. What the heck? All right.
You upgraded to a significantly less a-hole. And that's actually, because I'm pretty much, so we're going to start over.
I'm going with it. All right, we'll start over. Hi, Randy Crabtree here, host of the Unique CPA podcast, recording live from Bridging the Gap conference with my guest today, John Garrett. John, welcome to the whatever this is, the interview.
No, your living room. I appreciate you being here. It's
that's right.
This is awesome. No, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no, it's so. Anybody who has ever listened to my podcast, this is not the podcast, they know that I have to talk about you every show just because I am your book, What's Your Hand, is just such a huge thing, and our company lives by it. So I want to thank you for that. But before
I appreciate that, though, for real, honestly, genuinely, it means a lot, because I know you read a lot of books, so
no, I don't.
I appreciate that. This is the one you finished, so that's great,
I did finish it.
There we go.
So, no. But yeah, no, and I'll get more into that. But before we do that, we're halfway through day one here at the conference.
Yeah.
I know you sat on a few sessions. Just wondering your thoughts on what you've seen so far.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, it's a great mixture of speakers and topics, but also unique ones that aren't at a lot of the other conferences. And so I think it really brings to life you and the way that you look at the profession, the way that you look at Tri-Merit, the way that you look at the people that work here. So I think it's great that you wanted to bring these things that are normally in the corners and in the shadows out into the front and shine a light on them. So I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I had no idea how this would go.
Yeah.
So far, so good. But we are not a technical conference in any manner at all. I mean, we're not talking about tax, codes. We're not talking about GAAP or FASBs or anything like that.
That's why people are awake.
I think you are right. I have seen alertness in this conference.
Very much, very much.
So that's nice. Well, I appreciate the feedback on that. So now, let's get into what's your and. Because, like I said, as a company, we live by that, and I think I kind of had the living by that before. I had a definition for it, so you put a definition in there for me of what you're and that's so amazing. But why don't you give us a little background on why you wrote this book and what?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just cool to see that. I mean, yeah, you were living it, but this just gives it the structure and gives it the framework.
Yes.
That it's like, oh, okay. You can it's awesome how it's in the vernacular. I was just at lunch and talking with some people from Tri-Merit, and they were just, well, what's your and? What's your and? It's just a phrase that people say, and it's for people that haven't read the book yet or heard the message. It's just you have a job title, but behind that is a human, and so you're a CPA and something else: a ballroom dancer, a beer aficionado, a college football fan, a volunteer at a dog shelter. What are these other things of who else are you beyond the job title? And because there's a part of you that's not a CPA that needs nourishment and love. And then there's a part of you that's not a parent or a husband or a spouse or a wife or whatever that needs nourishment and love. And it's hard for us to be just a little bit selfish on this is my thing. So many people hide behind, family or my kids. And it's like, you're only saying that because people are going to judge you and think you're a big jerk face if you don't think that your family's important.
Right.
No, of course your family's important. But what is it that lights you up? And something that's been with you forever. And it's with you before your work here. It's with you while you work here. It's with you when you get promoted. It's still the thing. Your technical skills always changing.
Right.
But that's something that's there all the time. And I know for you it's beer. I mean, for me it's college football and music and travel and ice cream. Oh, yeah.
So why are you not 50 pounds heavier if ice cream is your and?
Right. Well, I laugh a lot, and I've been blessed with a high metabolism. And I'm at the age where it's starting to teeter a little bit, but but we're fine. I'm able to like just suck in the entire time that I'm talking to you. And so this isn't really my voice. This is me sucking in the entire time.
Well, that's a good move. And before we get into that, because you just mentioned family, you do have a new family, a newborn, correct?
Exactly. And they let me have offspring. Can you believe this?
That's awesome. And what's her name? I forgot.
Yeah, Sage.
Sage.
Yeah.
So. After the accounting software?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It's Sage, Zero, Intuit. I don't even know what the other ones might be. FreshBooks.
Yeah, FreshBooks. There you go.
Whatever.
Oh, that's nice.
I wanted to go Peachtree, but apparently that's old school.
Yeah, I don't know if Peachtree's around anymore.
Yeah. Well, it should be.
It is a street in Atlanta, though. So
there's an intersection of Peachtree and Peach Street. So
that's true. So all right, let's get back to the diversion from family, which is awesome. I was so excited for when I heard that. You are now out, I mean, you not only have the book, but you out consult on this now. You're out talking with firms. You're helping from a corporate culture standpoint, correct?
Yeah.
And give us an idea of what that is. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, it's co-creating with you the culture that you want it to be. I mean, my favorite thing, especially in accounting firms, and because I do this with a lot of different professional services, white-collar nerd groups. But when accounting firms, it's, just because you're an accounting firm doesn't mean you have to act like one. Mm-hmm. I mean, so what are you doing? And so it's co-creating with you, and it's also helping leadership. What's your legacy here? Like, what's your thumbprint on this? Because oftentimes they weren't the founders of the firm, so they're maybe round two or of leadership. But it's like, well, what are you doing differently? What are you doing to enhance it? What are you doing to make this a better place to attract and retain talent? Really, which is the number one issue right now, and probably forever. And so it's working with leadership to let them know kind of what this philosophy is and why it matters. It's working with the C-suite, and then it's doing an employee journey map, which is really great, of just what is that employee journey from before they've heard of the firm all the way through being recruited, onboarded, while they work there, and then even when they leave. What does that journey look like through the employee's eyes? It's so easy for us as an organization to say, oh, well, we send out these newsletters, or we give people these stress balls, or does anyone even see these things? Does anyone open these emails? Does anyone know that these are happening?
Right.
And so it's more through the employee's eyes. What's that journey look like? What are the emotions and the feelings that you're having at different stages throughout this journey? And then how, as an organization, can we get ahead of those and tap into those positive ones, or try to mitigate the negative ones? And so then it's looking at it that way, and then it's looking at the employee experience and what are some moments that matter that we can have happen there. And then the group comes up with them. I kind of inject my ideas as well, and we kind of merge them together, and then let's roll with one or two of these and have a culture committee that helps to implement.
So internally they have to commit this committee, obviously.
Yeah.
They have to have buy-in.
Absolutely.
It can't just be you out talking.
No, and I vet organizations that I work with, because if you're a dumpster fire, I'm not your guy. Go get acquired by a firm, and then I'll work with them. But it's so I'm not your person. But also too, if you haven't tried anything, or if you don't think that investing in your people matters, then I'm also not your guy. I'm not going to convince you of this.
Right.
You need to believe it, and you need to want it, and it has to be in your heart from leadership. And if that's there, then we can talk. But if it's not, then I'm not your person.
Right.
And that's fine too.
And then what's the ultimate goal? I mean, just to create a better culture, but to retain people as well, retain your employees.
Yeah.
And obviously you can quantify the retaining. CPAs like things quantified. You can quantify the fact that now we have less turnover, and how much money does that save? But I mean, that's the thing, is the culture, I'm sure. But those are the outcomes you're looking for?
Yeah, but I mean, it's dollars.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
when somebody leaves, it's 2 to 3 times their salary that it costs your organization. Now, this isn't a check that you have to sit there and write.
Right.
So you oftentimes don't think about it.
Exactly.
But it's a cost that's absorbed within the organization, and a lot of times people are like, well, that's just the cost of doing business. But is it? And what if you could reduce that by, let's say, 10%?
Yeah.
Times, all those that that expense. I mean, that's a lot. And so it's like, okay, well, you invest a little bit in your people, you get them to stay longer, and kind of looking at the lifetime value of an employee curve. It's kind of an area under the curve from high school calculus sort of thing. So just get the curve to go a little bit higher and a little bit longer for each employee.
Right.
And I mean, the thing that I hammer when I speak is just value the worker as much as you value the work. And forever, we've only valued work.
Right.
We have not valued the worker. And, well, we paid them a salary and we gave them a raise. No, that's not valuing them.
Right.
Because if you think about it, they've worked 2 weeks. They're out time and energy that they could have spent doing things that light them up.
Right.
And then you compensate them at the end.
Right.
Which is hilarious to me. It's like, why don't we compensate first and then let them work it down?
Well, that's true.
Well, no, that's not how it, well, why not?
I like it because firms in general are starting to pre-bill as well for things. Some firms are out there.
Yeah.
So why aren't we prepaying then as well?
Yeah, I mean, what's the difference?
Right.
And I mean, once you get started, then it's the same thing. You're
Right,
still getting
exactly.
paid every 2 weeks. But it's just the psychological effect of it all.
Yep.
It's just valuing the people and also understanding what are the things that you're not doing because you're working. What are those hobbies and passions and interests that you have outside of work? What's your story? Like, what's going on here? Like, who are you beyond the job title? And then even deeper, like, what lights up your soul inside that human? And then it's not more accounting. It's not.
Probably not.
Like,
No.
It's not.
Well,
I mean,
for 92% of people,
somebody did read the book. All right, that was a little test. But yeah, my own research, it shows 92% of professionals have a hobby or passion they regularly do outside of work. So the stereotypical accountant in this case is not someone that's only work focused.
Right.
It's people that have other things to who they are.
And I think I've told you this before, but if not, you'll hear it for the first time. If you have, you've heard it for the second time. So, but for us, following what you say, valuing the people, we don't lose anybody. People don't leave. Partly it's the upfront hiring process too.
Sure.
And I don't know the systems. I don't get involved in that. That stuff I'm not a big fan of. I just like to stay in my lane.
Yeah.
But what we do is in the last, and I know this is what I keep quoting, and I think I'm accurate. The last 7 years, I think we lost one person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable. And we're 72 people right now.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
impressive.
good stat. But it is, I mean, obviously from a financial standpoint, yeah, we can look at that, and that's a great thing. But I think just from an overall business standpoint, we service our clients better because everybody's happy.
Oh, totally.
Here.
No, I mean, all of this helps DEIA conversations. It helps generational differences. It helps, negative feedback when those conversations need to happen. It helps with consistent client service. It helps with succession planning.
Right.
It helps with all these things if you care about your people and they stay longer. Then all these good things happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think I told you this story too, but I like to tell you things multiple times.
Well, I'll listen this time.
It's one of my ands.
Oh, okay. It is telling me.
Telling you things multiple times. And actually, I swear I told you this, but out in San Diego last year, you were out, you talked to our organization, which was great. Everybody loved it. But at that event, we had a photographer out there. Mm-hmm. Photographer taking pictures the entire time of the entire group and everything. Headshots too, but just action photos.
Yeah.
And the photographer told somebody that I work with, he was talking to her and he said, hey, I just want to let you know, I do this all the time. I'm at these corporate events. This is the first time I cannot figure out who the partners of this company are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that just felt so cool to me because we weren't a click over here of leadership and a click over here of administration or whatever. Everybody had fun together because we all knew their passions outside of work. We knew what lights up their soul because we share that on calls and the business. And that part came directly from you to make sure we shared that stuff. And that, I'm going to give you credit for what that photographer said, so thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, man. That's awesome. But it's also a testament that you did it, but that you're willing to be a little bit vulnerable and open up and be human. And so many people in our profession want to be perfect and know all the answers and be robots. And it's like, no, you don't know all the answers. You're not perfect. You've made mistakes. You make mistakes now. And so, but it's leveling that out from an organizational standpoint to where oftentimes like with your peer group, you'll open up. Like, you know, at a larger firm, like the partners all know about each other.
Right.
But then all of a sudden a senior associate walks in and it's like, oh, well, the FASB said, and it's like, what? And so it's making sure that it goes vertical as well.
Right.
That people see the human there. And then you're less intimidating.
Yep.
You're just Randy. It's not the guy that founded the firm, like, you know, it's like going to the principal's office in elementary school or something. Like, oh my God. And so, no, it's just go talk to Randy. Just talk about beer for like 2 minutes and then he'll do anything.
Exactly.
And so, like, you know, but it's just, you know, but that's the thing that, you know, it's literally, it's that simple. It's the non-chargeable minutes that happen between the billable hours.
Yeah.
And that's what matters the
They're
most.
so important. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. So I think that's a huge way to wrap this up. That was I really, every time I get to talk to you, I am just so happy. I was very fortunate to hang out with you in Fort Collins a few weeks ago,
Right.
and
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a great time. So thanks for that, and thanks for coming on and discussing corporate culture with me. I really
No, I appreciate
it.
it, Randy. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.